It's the day everything changes. Not the day you hope for something better. Not the day you wish for a miracle. Not even the day you pray for a different outcome. It's the day you decide. That's a rare day, a singular moment when you draw a line in the sand and declare, this is it. No more drifting. Most people spend years, sometimes decades, waiting for something outside themselves to shift. They say, if only the circumstances were different. If only my boss gave me a break. If only the economy turned around. If only my family understood. But nothing happens. The calendar flips, birthdays come and go, and the story stays the same. Why? Because nothing truly changes until a decision is made. Not a preference. Not a fleeting desire. A real decision. The word decide comes from the same Latin root as homicide or suicide. It means to cut off. The day you decide, you cut off every other possibility except the one you choose. The bridges are burned. The boats are gone. You say, this is it. No more going back. It's a quiet moment, often private, with no fanfare or parade. But from that moment, everything changes. One decision can end 1,000 bad habits. One decision can rewrite years of wandering. The past becomes a lesson, not a life sentence. I remember a time years ago, sitting in a cramped apartment, surrounded by unpaid bills and a stack of empty promises I'd made to myself. The walls felt like they were closing in. I looked around and thought, enough. This is not the life I imagined. That was the moment. No big announcement. No dramatic speech. Just a quiet, resolute decision. From that day forward, my actions aligned with a new purpose. The world didn't change overnight, but I did. And that's where it all begins. People often wait for a bolt of lightning, a sign, or some external push to propel them forward. But the greatest change never starts on the outside. It begins the day someone stands up inside themselves and says, I'm done drifting. Today is the day I turn it around. That's the start of a new life, not wishing for things to get better, but deciding they will. Not someday. Today. The world doesn't respond to intentions. It responds to resolve. Your family, your friends, the marketplace, they can all feel it when you've truly decided. Not when you say it, but when you show it. You carry yourself differently. There's an intensity in your voice, a focus in your actions. The indecision melts away, and the new path becomes clear, not because it's easy, but because it's finally chosen. Look back at your own life. You'll see those pivot points. The day you quit that toxic habit. The day you walked out of a job or relationship that was holding you back. The day you looked in the mirror and said, enough is enough. Those moments don't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's a whisper in the middle of the night. Sometimes it's a quiet word to a friend. Sometimes it's just a resolve that hardens in your chest. But you know it when it happens. And the people around you know it too. That's the power of a real decision. So ask yourself, has that day come for you yet? Has the real decision been made? If not, maybe today is the day. Not another wish. Not another excuse. The turning point isn't out there somewhere. It's here, in the moment you decide the story changes. Not when circumstances get better. Not when someone else steps in. But when you draw the line and step over it. The day you turn it around isn't on the calendar. It's in your hands. It happens the instant you say, this is it. No more drifting. From this day forward, everything changes because I've decided it will. The fire of frustration. Let's be honest about how real change begins. Inspiration is wonderful. It'll get you out of bed in the morning. It'll give you a burst of energy now and then. But the day you really turn your life around usually isn't the day you feel inspired. It's the day you feel fed up. Not just a little uncomfortable. Not just mildly dissatisfied. It's the day the pain of where you are finally outweighs the fear of what comes next. People think growth begins with a sunrise and a smile. Most of the time, it starts with a knot in your stomach and a sleepless night. You stare at the ceiling, thinking, how did I get here? How long have I been putting up with this? You feel a deep frustration, real anger at the wasted time, the wasted potential. That's when the door to change swings open. Life has a way of getting your attention. Sometimes it's gentle, like a whisper. Sometimes it's a jolt, like a slap in the face. Pain is a messenger. It says, you were not meant for this mediocrity. You weren't put here just to pay bills and drift along, half awake, half alive. There comes a moment when the discomfort of staying the same becomes worse than the effort it takes to change. That's when people move. That's when people act. Maybe you felt it. The job you thought was your future now feels like a cage. The relationships that once brought joy now just go through the motions. Your clothes fit a little tighter. Your wallet's a little thinner. Your dreams feel a little more distant. You get tired of your own excuses. You get tired of explaining why it hasn't happened for you yet. And then one day, the pain is just too much. Don't shy away from it. Don't mask it with distractions, television, food, the latest gadget. Face it. Let that frustration burn just long enough to push you off the ledge of comfort. That pain is trying to teach you something vital. You are meant for more, but only if you're willing to reach for it. A turning point isn't just about knowing what you want. It's about feeling the ache of what you've settled for. It's about admitting that the cost of staying the same is too high. It's different for everyone. For one person, it's the look in their child's eyes when they break a promise. For another, it's a doctor's warning. For someone else, it's that last bounced check or one more year wasted. Whatever it is, let it sting. Let it push you. Here's the truth, nothing changes until you say, I've had enough. Not, I wish things were better, but I can't take another day like this. That's the seed of every turnaround. The decision isn't made in a moment of comfort. It's forged in the fire of frustration. You don't run from pain. You use it as a lever to move your life in a new direction. The next time you feel that ache, that burning sense of this isn't it, don't bury it. Listen. That's the starting gun. That's the day you look in the mirror and decide that pain has done its work. From now on, let every bit of discomfort remind you, you're on the edge of a breakthrough. Let it be the fuel, not the anchor. The day you turn it around doesn't begin with a smile. It begins with a grimace, a wince, and finally a roar, enough. That's when the world begins to shift because you have the engine of philosophy. Now let's get to the real engine of change, philosophy. Once you've made the decision, once you've felt the pain and said, enough, you have to ask, what comes next? That's where most people stumble. They get fired up. They get emotional. But if the philosophy doesn't change, nothing else will. Your life is built on your philosophy, your beliefs about work, money, time, and your own value. Results aren't accidental. They're the fruit of your philosophy. If the fruit isn't right, you've got to look at the root. How have you been thinking? What ideas have you bought into without even realizing it? I learned a long time ago, if you want to change your life, you have to change your mind first. That's where the real shift begins. A poor philosophy around work will have you hating Mondays and dreading Fridays. But a new philosophy says, this is my craft, my chance to bring value. Suddenly, every hour is an investment. Same job, new approach. When your thinking shifts, everything else follows. What about money? If you see money as an enemy, it'll always run from you. But if you see it as a tool, a servant, it'll go to work for you. It all starts with how you think about it. Then there's time. Some people kill time. Others invest it. Same 24 hours, different results. What's your philosophy about your own potential? Do you talk yourself down, or do you talk yourself up? Are you letting the world write your script, or are you holding the pen? These aren't small questions. They shape every decision, every habit, every outcome. When I started asking better questions, when I challenged the ideas I'd picked up over the years, that's when the turnaround began. I traded I can't for how could I. I stopped saying, that's not for people like me, and started asking, what if it is? I stopped blaming the economy, the weather, my background, and started upgrading my thinking. You can't have a new life with the same old mind. The good news? Philosophy isn't set in stone. It can be examined, challenged, and improved. Read the books. Listen to the voices of wisdom. And most of all, keep asking, why? Why do I think this way about work, about money, about myself? If you don't like the answer, you have the power to change it. Don't wait to upgrade your philosophy. Don't just get emotional, get thoughtful. Don't just react, reflect. If the life you want is built on a foundation, make sure that foundation is solid. Make sure the ideas you're living by are worthy of the life you want to build. When you change the way you think, you open the door for everything else to change too. Your future doesn't start with circumstances. It starts with philosophy. The decision is the ignition, but philosophy is the engine. Once that's running right, the road ahead gets brighter, wider, and full of possibility. The privilege of responsibility. Now we come to a crossroads everyone faces, responsibility. The day you turn it around is the day you stop waiting for someone else to do it for you. No more blaming. No more finger pointing. No more waiting for the cavalry. That day, you reclaim your life by accepting complete ownership. It's a sobering moment, isn't it? For a while, it feels good to blame circumstances, the boss, the government, even the weather. It takes the pressure off. But here's what you discover: every time you give away responsibility, you give away power. You trade your ability to change for a momentary excuse. And excuses are cheap. Power is priceless. Responsibility isn't a burden. It's the greatest privilege you have. It means the outcome belongs to you, the credit, the correction, the lessons. They're all yours. That's where change is born. The turnaround comes when you look in the mirror and say, if it's going to change, it's up to me. If it's going to get better, I'll be the one to make it happen. There was a time in my life when I wanted to blame everything and everyone for my situation. Too many bills, not enough income. Too little time, not enough support. I could have spent a lifetime building a case. But one day, I realized the case was costing me my future. Blame chains you to the past. Responsibility frees you to create the future. The moment you stop waiting for someone to rescue you, you become the rescuer. The moment you stop expecting a break and start becoming the break, everything shifts. You stop saying, somebody ought to do something, and realize that somebody is me. It doesn't mean you control everything. Life throws curveballs, setbacks, surprises. But what you do control is your response. That's where your real power lives. Responsibility is the ability to respond, not with excuses, but with action. It's not about perfection. It's about ownership. Even if you didn't cause it, you can choose how you handle it. This isn't a popular message. Most people want an easier answer. But the best lives are built by people who take ownership of both victories and defeats. If it goes well, learn from it. If it falls apart, own it, fix it, and grow from it. That's how you earn the confidence to tackle bigger dreams. When you reclaim responsibility, you stop drifting. You become the captain of your ship. The winds will blow. The seas will rise. But you're holding the wheel. The day you turn it around is the day you quit outsourcing your destiny. From that day forward, you live on your own terms, not at the mercy of the economy, the news, or anyone's opinion. If you've been waiting for someone to show up and fix it, you're going to have to realize that someone is you. Pick up the pen. Write the next chapter. Take the next step. When you do, you'll find the truth. No one can do it for you, but you can do it for yourself. Ownership is where transformation begins. Take it. Use it. Build something you're proud of. The day you reclaim responsibility, you reclaim your future. The backbone of discipline. For most people, here's what keeps the turnaround alive: discipline. Emotion gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. How many times have you felt the surge of motivation, the excitement of a new beginning? You promise yourself, this time will be different. And it is, for a week, maybe two. Then the old habits slip back in, and the fire fades. That's why discipline matters. It's the bridge between decision and achievement. It's the daily practice of doing what needs to be done, even when the feeling has faded. Anyone can start. Few are willing to finish. The difference between a fleeting change and a lasting transformation is discipline. When you build it into your life, you stack up small victories. It's not about giant leaps. It's about steady steps. You wake up a little earlier. You save a little more. You read another chapter. Make another call. Take another walk. Each act, small by itself, compounds over time. Soon, you look back and realize you're living in the harvest of seeds you planted with discipline. I remember making promises to myself and breaking them. It hurt. But the day I decided to keep even the smallest promise was the day I started to trust myself again. That's where discipline begins, not with grand gestures, but with tiny commitments kept. You brush your teeth. You write in your journal. You turn off the television and pick up a book. Over and over, until it becomes who you are. Some people wait for the mood to strike. Discipline says, do it anyway. Don't negotiate with the alarm clock. Don't argue with your goals. If you want the reward, pay the price not once, but every day. That's how you build a new identity. That's how the turnaround becomes real. Discipline is the backbone of character. It's easy to do what's right when it's easy. The real test is when no one's watching, when you're tired, when excuses start knocking. That's the moment discipline steps up. You say, I made a promise to myself, and I intend to keep it. Don't confuse discipline with punishment. It's a gift. It frees you from regret, from the shame of another broken promise. It's not about living a rigid life. It's about living a life you're proud of. You choose your pain, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One weighs ounces. The other, tons. Let's be practical. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Pick one thing and stick to it. Build the muscle of discipline. Soon, the process gets easier. The resistance fades. The habits stick. Momentum builds. When you look at those who have turned their lives around, it's not luck or talent that separates them. It's discipline, the willingness to do what others won't, to keep moving forward when motivation is long gone. The day you turn it around is the day you say, no more excuses. From now on, discipline is the new standard. Emotion starts the engine, but discipline drives the miles. Build the bridge. Walk it daily. Before long, you'll find yourself living on the other side, a new life, built one disciplined act at a time. The power of associations. Here's what we can't afford to overlook: the power of associations. The day you turn your life around, you'll notice something else has to change: your environment. The people you spend time with. The voices you let into your mind. The standards you allow to shape your decisions. It all matters more than you think. You can't plant new seeds in old soil and expect a different crop. If you want a new direction, you need a new environment. Take a look at who you're spending your days with. Are they cheering you on or holding you back? Are they expanding your thinking or narrowing your dreams? Sometimes, the people who care about you most are the ones most afraid to see you grow, because your growth reminds them of what they've neglected in themselves. It doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them the wrong partners for the next leg of your journey. Some people will try to keep you where you are because that's where they feel safe. Others will stretch you, challenge you, encourage you to become more than you are today. That's the environment you need. Years ago, I found myself surrounded by folks who saw the world through a lens of limitation. Every idea was met with a reason it wouldn't work. Every goal was greeted with a warning: you can't prosper here. This is all there is. Don't expect too much. I realized if I didn't change my environment would change me. I had to go searching for new conversations, new examples, new energy. Sometimes, it means letting go, at least for a season. Not out of anger or judgment, but out of commitment to your own growth. Protect your dreams like a precious seed. Seek out those who have done what you want to do. Let their stories become the wind in your sails. Listen more to those who have fruit on the tree, less to those who only have opinions. Changing associations doesn't mean cutting everyone off or turning your back on your family. It means becoming intentional about where you get your input. Spend more time with people who live at the level you aspire to and less with those content to stay put. If you want to soar, you can't spend your days with people determined to crawl. Environment is stronger than willpower. You can have the best intentions, but if your daily life is filled with negativity, doubt, and mediocrity, it'll wear you down. Get around people who remind you of your strengths, not your weaknesses. People who see your future, not just your past. The world is full of people willing to help if you look for them. Ask yourself, who's in my circle? Who am I listening to? Who's shaping my standards and my vision? If you don't like the answers, it's time to make changes. You can love people from a distance. You can appreciate them for what they've meant in your life. But your future depends on the company you keep. When you turn your life around, your new direction requires new associations. Surround yourself with excellence, and excellence becomes possible for you. Change the people you listen to, and you change the person you become. The pull of goals. After you've made the decision, felt the pain, upgraded your philosophy, taken responsibility, developed discipline, and changed your associations, what comes next? You need a target. You need goals that pull you forward, not just away from the old, but toward the new. The day you turn it around, you discover the power of a clear, urgent goal. A goal isn't just something to write in a notebook. It's a declaration that the future will be different because you are going to make it happen. The clearer your goals, the greater your chances of turning your life around for good. Vague intentions bring vague results. But when you define exactly what you want and why you want it, the whole world seems to bend a little in your direction. When I started setting serious goals, everything shifted. I wasn't just wandering through my days, hoping things would improve. I was driven by a vision. I remember the first time I sat down with a blank piece of paper and asked, what do I really want? Not what I think I can get. Not what others expect of me. But what would excite me, challenge me, and force me to grow? The answers weren't easy. They took time, thought, and a willingness to dream bigger than my circumstances. Goals have a way of waking up something inside you. They demand clarity. They ask you to be honest. What do you want your health to look like? What do you want your relationships to feel like? What kind of work do you want to do? What kind of life do you want to live? These aren't questions for someday. They're questions for today. Once you set your sights, urgency becomes your new companion. You stop waiting for perfect timing and start taking steps now. Every action becomes proof of your new purpose. You make the phone call. You enroll in the class. You write the letter. You set aside the money. Each small win builds momentum. The path gets clearer as you walk it. Goals give you a reason to keep going when old patterns call you back. They remind you why you started this journey. Without them, you're just reacting to life. With them, you're creating it. Let your goals stretch you. If they don't challenge your current reality, they won't change your future. Set goals that make you a little nervous. If you already know how to reach them, they're not big enough. The process of pursuing them will force you to become more than you are. That's the real gift. Make your goals official. Write them down. Speak them out loud. Share them with someone who believes in you. Let them become the compass that guides every decision, every sacrifice, every disciplined act. Check them often. Goals are living things. They need your attention, your energy, your belief. The day you turn it around becomes the day you start aiming with purpose. With every goal achieved, set a new one. Life isn't about one finish line. It's about becoming a person who keeps moving them forward. That's how you stay alive, engaged, and growing. Set your goals with urgency and clarity, and let them redefine your direction. The story of your turnaround is written one goal at a time. The fragility of momentum. Now let's talk about what happens after you've set those goals and started down a different path, momentum. There's nothing quite like it. When you finally get moving in the right direction, it feels as if the winds are at your back. Every small victory builds on the last, and suddenly you start to believe not just in change, but in yourself. But here's the caution: momentum is fragile in the early days. It's like a spark. If you feed it, it becomes a flame. If you neglect it, the wind can blow it out. That's why you need routines, reminders, and maybe even a bit of stubbornness. Hold on tight to the new direction until it becomes who you are, not just what you do. Celebrate the small wins. Every day you stick to your plan, every day you say no to an old habit and yes to a new one, mark it down. Let those victories stack up. They're your proof that the turnaround is real. If you fall, get up quickly. The old way is always looking for an opening. But you get to choose. You can start again at any moment. Keep your environment aligned with your goals. Keep learning. Keep reading. Keep listening to the voices that lift you higher. Don't coast. Momentum loves motion, and it's powered by consistency. Don't let one slip turn into a slide. The best way to keep momentum is to make progress every day, even if it's small. Some people get discouraged because they think every day should feel like a breakthrough. That's not how momentum works. Most days, it's quiet. It's a handful of decisions, a few good choices, a routine that's followed. Progress is sometimes invisible, but it's there like the roots of a tree growing deeper, making you stronger, more resilient. Every day you live your new habits, you confirm your new direction. It's not a one-time choice. It's the daily act of maintenance that transforms a decision into a lifestyle. Momentum gives you confidence, energy, and belief. But you have to protect it. Don't get complacent. Don't take it for granted. The greatest enemy of momentum is comfort. Make the commitment to maintain what you started. Keep the promise to yourself. Stay alert. The day you turn it around is only the beginning. The rest is up to you. Guard your progress, and every day will be a confirmation that you are becoming the person you decided to be. The second decision. How do we take it a step further? The second decision. Most people think the day you turn it around is a one-time event, a single lightning bolt that changes everything. But real change doesn't work that way. The first decision gets you moving, but it's the second decision and the third and the 100th that keeps you moving. Renewal isn't a one-day affair. It's a daily commitment. The world is full of people who decided once. They got excited. They set goals. They changed a few habits. Then life got busy. Distractions crept in. Old routines knocked at the door. Before they knew it, the momentum faded, and they were back where they started. Why? Because they forgot the second decision. Every morning brings a new chance to choose progress. The second decision is about waking up and saying, "Today, I choose the new direction again. Today, I keep the promise I made to myself." It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Success is built on the courage to renew your commitment day after day. It's easy to decide when you're inspired, when the pain is fresh or the vision is vivid. But what about the days when it feels ordinary? What about the days when no one's watching, when no one's cheering you on? That's when the second decision matters most. It's the quiet choice to keep going when the excitement is gone. It's the willingness to begin again, no matter how many times you have to. I've had to make the second decision more times than I can count. There were mornings when old doubts came creeping back, when challenges seemed too much, when results weren't coming as quickly as I hoped. On those days, I reminded myself, you already turned it around. Now don't turn back. Progress isn't measured by perfection. It's measured by persistence. Let each day be a new vote for the person you're becoming. Don't let a bad day turn into a bad week or a bad week into a lost year. If you fall, stand up. If you drift, realign. The discipline of renewal is what separates those who experience lasting change from those who only taste it for a moment. As you move forward, remember, the first decision is your turning point, but the second decision is your anchor. Every morning is a blank slate. Every sunrise is a new invitation to choose growth, progress, the life you want. Make that second decision over and over, and the turnaround becomes your new normal. Your future isn't determined by the day you started. It's written in the days you decided to keep going. The test of time. Finally, the true test, the test of time. The day you turn it around is powerful, but what really counts is what you do with the years that follow. Turning a moment of change into a lifetime of mastery, that's the real challenge. It's not what happens in a single day, but what you build over the seasons, through the ups and downs, that tells the true story. Anyone can have a breakthrough moment. Anyone can declare, "This is it." But the world doesn't give out rewards for good intentions or single decisions. The rewards go to those who endure, who persist, who take the first decision and repeat it for a decade or more. Endurance, showing up day after day, year after year, that's what turns the day you turn it around into a life that stands the test of time. There will be seasons when the initial excitement fades. There will be years when the world seems to move slower than your dreams. There will be storms, losses, disappointments, things that try to knock you back to the old way. This is where you separate the amateurs from the masters. The amateur starts strong but fades when the going gets tough. The master keeps showing up, keeps working the plan, keeps the promises long after the mood is gone. Some years will be bountiful. Others will be lean. Some goals will come easily. Others will take longer than you thought possible. But the day you turn it around, you're not promising perfection. You're promising persistence. The real power of that promise shows up not in a moment, but in a decade. It's the discipline, the responsibility, the new philosophy, the right associations, the urgency of your goals all working together, day after day, season after season. When you look back after 10 years, you see what you've really become. You see the fruit of small, steady acts of discipline. You see the value of holding on to your new habits, protecting your momentum, making that second decision each and every day. You see how the world changes, not in an instant, but through compounding effort. The test of time is the ultimate test. Don't get discouraged if your progress feels slow. Don't measure your life by the intensity of a single day. Measure it by the strength of your consistency. The grandest oak in the forest started as a seed, planted and nurtured day after day, year after year. The power is in persistence. The day you turn it around is just the beginning. Your destiny is determined not by that single day, but by the decade that follows. Stay the course. Endure the tests. You'll become the master of your own life story. Conclusion: your turnaround, your legacy. The day you turn it around is a sacred moment, a declaration that you are no longer willing to settle for less than you're capable of. But it's not the end. It's the start of a journey that demands everything you've got: your decision, your pain, your philosophy, your responsibility, your discipline, your associations, your goals, your momentum, your renewal, and your endurance. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up, day after day, choosing the harder path because it leads to a better life. It's about building a legacy, not just for yourself, but for everyone who watches you rise. Your children. Your friends. Your community. They'll see what's possible when someone decides, enough is enough.